sophomore, allegedly opening fire with a 9mm 6-hour handgun. At least 4 students killed and 7 wounded before police took him into custody. The suspected shooter was arraigned on a total of 24 charges, including terrorism, first-degree murder, and multiple gun charges. And prosecutors say there's a mountain of physical evidence showing this was a deliberate act.
This defendant planned the shooting. He deliberately brought the handgun that day with the intent to murder as many students as he could.
Police say the gun was purchased legally just 4 days before the shooting by the suspect's father.
The loss of one of their own. Officer Henry Laxon died after he and another officer were shot while responding to a report of a drive-by shooting in Rex. 3 others were killed, including 2 women and the suspected shooter.
Fox 5's Eric Perry has followed this story all throughout the day. He joins us now with the very latest. Eric.
Yeah, Courtney, Tom, a lot of people in this neighborhood and the law enforcement community just really can't even stomach what happened. I actually want to show you in one of the shootout that happened here next to that garage. We're going to zoom in. You can see one of the many bullet holes that are just in this area. A total of 6 people were shot, including a 12-year-old boy who was shot in the face.
These things just shouldn't happen.
A terrifying Tuesday night in Clayton County after gunfire erupts in a usually quiet neighborhood. Clayton County Police originally got the call around 8:30 for some sort of domestic incident at this home on Jervis Court in Rex. When officers got there, they were met with gunfire from a man who the GBI now identifies as 35-year-old Arthur Gilliam.
As he fled to the rear of the residence, he was met by tactical units who were approaching on foot. He also engaged them in gunfire, unfortunately striking 2 of our officers.
One of those fatal bullets struck Clayton County Police Officer Henry Laxon. The second officer was hit in the hand. Police also found 2 women inside the home dead from gunshot wounds. A 12-year-old boy was also shot in the face, but police expect him to survive.
It was bad. That's all I can tell you. Car got shot at.
Those in the area say they were terrified. Evidence of the gunfire all over the neighborhood. This garage littered with dozens of bullet holes. And those bullets didn't just stop outside. You can see that huge bullet hole here. It went through this homeowner's window, into the wall, and ended in the bathroom. She tells me her 4-year-old plays right there near that window.
I'm still shocked that people died on our block because we was coming home and we got a call and saying I'm coming because they're shooting. And it was just terrifying.
Many residents we talked to didn't want to show their faces, but say this will forever be a stain in their memory. A sentiment many Clayton
loss for not only this family, but for this community. A young boy charged in the murder of his own sister. And investigators say it all started because this young boy was allegedly making and selling ghost weapons from their home. One of those sales went bad. He apparently got into a scuffle with an alleged buyer. Shots were fired and his sister was hit in the chest.
13-year-old kid got on weight about 80 pounds. We was able to make a weapon from start to finish at 13 years old.
At a news conference Wednesday, Douglas County Sheriff Tim Pounds was obviously in shock and almost speechless that a child as young as 13 could not only be accused of killing his own sister, but also accused of making and selling so-called ghost weapons. 14-year-old Kyra Scott died at this Marathon gas station on Stewart Mill Road Saturday afternoon after deputies say family members drove her here. Investigators say the teenager was shot at her home on Vicky Lane, less than a mile from the gas station.
13-year-old brother admitted to shooting his sister.
Sheriff Pounds tells us it happened during a robbery at the home. The sheriff says the brother was allegedly making and selling weapons and a sale that day went bad.
He made a weapon. Folks that he made it for come to pick that weapon up. And the robbery took place, so they was trying to rob him and take the gun instead of purchasing the gun, and that's exactly what happened.
On Tuesday,
unmistakable. A DeKalb County deputy hit by a gunman's bullet. He crawls to get out of the path of the gunfire as his colleague calls out to see if he's okay. This terrifying scene playing out around 7:30 this morning as DeKalb County deputies try to serve an arrest warrant for Edward Gatling.
You got nothing to lose.
This man does not want to give his name, but he says he tipped off police. What made you decide to call police?
Safety of me and my family.
The tipster says he learned a man fitting Gatling's description lived nearby. Gatling was wanted, accused of shooting another Lithonia resident on DeKalb Industrial Boulevard back in October.
I got everything to lose.
The tipster says he feared for his daughter.
Daughter, family, neighbors, kids around here.
DeKalb County deputies this morning tried to serve an arrest warrant to Edward Gatling at this home on Wellington Circle in Lithonia.
Very concerned. Very, very concerned.
The DeKalb County Sheriff's Department says Gatling opened fire on officers. He wounded Deputy Aaron Jackson and Deputy Jared Hunt. One deputy hit in the abdomen, the other in the leg.
And it still wants Buckhead to become its own city. That story coming up. David.
Christine, first.
A FedEx driver dumped packages into a ravine at least 6 times. Federal authorities are looking into the role retailers have in the global supply chain crisis. Regulators of the Federal Trade Commission are asking for major companies like Amazon and Walmart to share information on how they're dealing with shortages and other issues. The FTC wants to know if the backlog has led to anti-competitive business practices and higher prices.
Looking for the perfect gift this holiday season? Well, it might just be at a thrift store. As Fox's Rebecca Castor reports, second-hand gifts
prevent its spread. Most physicians agree vaccines and boosters will offer protection, with masks providing additional safety. But they debate whether universal mandates are medically necessary, especially in places with high compliance.
Superimpose lockdowns and restrictions and masking, I mean, all of that are political moves, not medical moves. If you look in New York City, almost 95% of adults in New York City are vaccinated.
The new variant has prompted Greece to announce monthly fines equivalent to more than $100 for citizens over 60 who failed to get vaccinated by January 16. The Greek government says it's targeting the unvaccinated elderly because they're the ones most likely to suffer severe symptoms, further straining a limited supply of ICU beds. But one of the first doctors to identify the have been mild. In a Daily Mail op-ed, Angelique Coetzee writes, "The simple truth is we don't know yet anywhere near enough about Omicron to make such judgments or to impose such..."
For a booster shot but haven't gotten one to get the shots. He says boosters are especially critical right now because they can drive up neutralizing antibody levels to help the body fight off an infection.
Because our experience with variants such as the Delta variant is that even though the vaccine isn't specifically targeted to
impacts of this new variant on vaccines. Emory, infectious disease expert, a man we have come to know very well over the last 22 months or so. Dr. Carlos Del Rio says the variant has multiple mutations, and you're not going to hear this, but it could be more contagious.
That's why scientists are increasingly alarmed by this strain, because it does appear to have a lot of those things that make us worry. However, at this point in time, there's many things that we don't know, and trying to go from what we think we know to what we know is going to take some time.
President Biden's new plan to help fight the spread of COVID-19 includes boosters for all adults and vaccinations for children. Today, I spoke.
Waiting to go see the doctor. Get this little thing done. Check y'all later. Bye. That was a big old game of hurry up and wait. Hour and a half and nothing yet. 5:30 in the morning, somebody needs their head examined. And it's not me.